He's up against the most talented player in the game. He's a 5-time and reigning world champion. They call him the Rocket. He is, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan!
Thank you very much, Ashley, and this is going to be a mouth-watering encounter. I am sure everybody will be glued to their seats. Two of the best players the world has ever seen in the game of snooker. Who will prevail today? This is the question. Obviously Ronnie O'Sullivan, you would have to say, has been playing the better of the two. This is going to be a very close one to call.
Thank you. The first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Yes, John Higgins is building this match up in the press this morning, saying that this is what you play for, this type of match. That's why you practice so hard. These are the days you look forward to. Not the best to start with that safety shot, but at the moment the black is surrounded by a few reds, which is any a chance to win from here. Ron's been winning a lot of frames in one visit this week. Well, if it had kissed and got on that black, it would have been a miracle. Almost though.
Yellow. Foul and a miss.
Oh, John Higgins and me ask him to play from where the white is now.
Ronnie can get through to the red just above the black. Obviously in playing this he might push it towards the right corner.
Could you just check your earpieces on this side please? There's a few that are too loud.
It's not bad. He has left this red to the right corner. Obviously if John Higgins goes for it and it's a little bit thick, I think he'll end up colliding the reds near to the, or around by the pink spot anyway. So thin is okay with this one, not thick.
It's too thin though. Not sure if Ronnie can get through directly to this red. Even if you can, he's going to have to play it very slowly to stay on the black. You can get through there to the potting angle. He doesn't like it.
One.
Didn't fancy the slow roll in for the black. Blue is available. the green there. Got to give him a bit more trust in his cue in. It's okay out being out on the practice table and doing it, but when you're doing it out here, that
4.
builds your confidence up, self-belief. Ronnie Sullivan doesn't half get some sort of welcome when he comes into an auditorium, doesn't he? I mean, up in the Alexandra Palace when he's playing the Masters, I went in to listen to the introduction.
5.
I've got to be honest, your hair stands up on your neck. You're just listening to it. It's wonderful. He's just one of those very special people that comes into a room to play snooker and just lights the place up.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Didn't quite cast that thick enough. He was trying to get round the table, get behind blue and yellow. Looks pretty safe. There may be half a chance here for Ronnie with a long red. No, it's just the safety. Well, that kept on rolling. It looked as if he was going to leave John Higgins the long red, but very fast the beds of these cloths. Cushions are quite quick as well, so if you put the two of those together in one shot, it's not easy to control the pace of the cue ball.
As long as he doesn't go in off, which he hasn't. That was a very, very well thought out shot. Played as a pot for nothing. Very tricky to find the gap there. Played it well. No damage done. Obviously you want to miss the yellow on the way down, but that blue has made things a little bit awkward. He didn't really want that to clip that red in the centre of the table. Ronnie's having a little look to see how thin this would be to chip it into the middle pocket. You could do with a cannon on something and potting this red. And he's managed to miss
1.
everything. It was a good pot. A couple of choices. Brown looks favourite.
5. 6. 8. 9. 12. 13.
Nicely played. Max out of commission, so pink is available into this corner. Into one of the centre pockets. It's just a matter of where it respots now. Well, that's good
19.
for O'Sullivan. He'd obviously looked at that. It's on the black spot, so it's available now in 2 corners. Big difference that.
20.
He'd be hoping to make the most of this, O'Sullivan. Put early pressure on John Higgins. That's what he's been doing here, doing this tournament for the week, really. Sure, a lot of the players go out there and hope he doesn't start good and he's in good form, because he's very difficult to stop then.
26.
Even for Higgins.
27. 33. 34.
Yes, when Ronnie was born, he was born with an unbelievable talent. An absolute genius on a snooker table. That was one of his better shots, though. What a gift he was given.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 40.
Obviously he's had to put a lot of hard work in as well to go with that gift. How talented you are. Unless you're prepared to put the effort in, you get out what you put in, but it does help. You've got an abundance of ability.
Just playing the snooker there. You want to taking the pot on. Bit awkward this one for John Higgins. Definitely up there with the best, escaping from snookers. Not quite sure if you could swerve around the black to get the red with the brown, but of course the red's on the corner pocket. He's playing for the one on the corner, doesn't want to go in off. Very unlucky. Great attempt from John Higgins to
Ronnie
escape and
O'Sullivan
clear that
for-
red off the pocket. Should cost him the first frame now though.
One.
So
Four.
this red and the colour to make sure.
Five.
And goes the pink. So that's the end of this frame.
11. 12.
Little exhibition shot there, but I think it's gone wrong. I don't think he can get through to this red to the right.
18.
And I'm saying that, and he's straight down, so he can. Very
19.
deceiving from the commentary box. Always looks in full flow, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Every time he gets in, just makes it look effortless. He doesn't always play well.
22.
Even when he's not
23.
playing so good, he still looks great, which is unusual.
30.
He's not going to be too concerned that he's missed the yellow. John Higgins has stayed in his chair. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads 1 frame to 0.
Second frame. John Higgins to break.
Yes, John Higgins didn't pot a ball in the first frame. He got a 4-point penalty. Won't disturb him as yet, of course. It almost comes as a shock when O'Sullivan misses a pot sometimes when he's playing well, but mustn't forget how difficult the game is. Red goes, he may play for the black, he may come up the table for another colour. Had to make the pot though. Blue ball needs to slow down. Perfect. Maybe a little thin off the yellow to try and split the pack. He's okay.
Yellow.
He's playing for the single red. Beautifully played. Very little room there past the blue, off the cushion for this red.
Four.
Higgins be up for this match, make no mistake about it.
$11.
Didn't get the split though. His first chance of the match really.
John Higgins, 11.
Not really Ronnie O'Sullivan could do there, other than to play the up and down. Now that red has gone in just behind the brown. And we're trying to stick the cue ball in behind the black each time. We could see a lot of reds landing up towards them bolt colours. Mind, I'm saying that, and he's left this red to the right centre, so that was a real miscalculation by John Higgins. Very adept in the safety department. Makes few mistakes, John Higgins.
1.
And that was a real mistake. And if he's going to have any chance in this match, he's going to have to stay with Ronnie. Well, Ronnie's played for the cluster there and missed them.
4. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
I think John Higgins will be quite happy, only losing 4 points. Expected. We'll need to have scored a lot more there.
The last 2 in the trot from John Higgins, you don't see that often. 2 bad safety shots, one after another. Shaking his head there now. It's always been one of his strengths. He's a great break builder as well, but his safety has given him so many openings in his career.
One.
There's no doubt that Ronnie O'Sullivan exerts pressure on his opponents out there with his high scoring. He's very, very dangerous in the balls. John Higgins played a safety shot that you wouldn't see in the local league on a Wednesday night.
Eight.
Or a Thursday if it comes to that.
Nine.
I think he's the only player in the world, Darren, I don't know how you feel about this, that I feel I could sit down and watch him and not say a word in the commentary box. We may get sacked, but
Yes, I'd agree with that, and he's probably, throughout my career we played many times, and he was probably the only player that, even when I was getting beat by him, and I did have a couple of wins against him, but even in beating me I used to enjoy it in a sick sort of a way.
16.
But he was you've just class to watch, and obviously used to play a lot of other players that I couldn't watch. I used to turn away and wait for my turn, but with him, watched every shot.
Well, he didn't strike that very good, and it may have cost him.
24.
Certainly hasn't got any easy reds to take on. I'm going to look again if you can get past these 3 reds by the pink spot to the one into the right corner. I have to put a touch aside to turn this over. That's what he's done. Beautiful. He doesn't hit the ball, he caresses the cue ball.
$30. $31. $38.
Well, I think he's already sent a message to John Higgins.
39.
If you play anything loose or leave him mid-range, any kind of lapse in concentration on the whole safety department, he's going to get punished for it.
46.
Ronnie has been in scintillating form here this week at the Newport Centre.
47.
I do feel for John Higgins to have any kind of a chance in this match, he is going to have to play better than he has done all week.
54. $55.
Just checking the scoreboard. Find himself 55
62.
points in front. Just this red needed.
63.
Higgins had very little to go at in the match so far. He's got to get started quickly. Sullivan's like a runaway train when he gets in front of you.
70. 71.
I think the difference between these two players so far in this match is that
78.
Sullivan has got a lot of evidence that he's playing well this season, whereas
79.
Higgins hasn't. We'd all expect him to find something. Of course, he's a great champion, but he hasn't found it yet.
$84. 85. $88. 90. 93. 97.
He mesmerises the crowd, doesn't he? So quiet out there.
108.
It's a Sullivan at his best, and there's no greater sight in the game. He's 2-0 in front against John Higgins. Great to watch, Darren, isn't he? Superb.
Well, breathtaking really. What can you say? There's not a real lot you can say that hasn't already been said before. Just a supreme talent, you know. I mean, to take a full season off like he did last year, come back and win the World Championship. He's played in a lot more events this year, and it is showing. He's probably playing the best snooker that he has ever played in his life.
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, John Higgins isn't, you know, and when they were both in their prime, there was a lot of great matchups, but I just had a feeling today that John Higgins may come out and play his best snooker, but it hasn't happened yet. But we won't give up on him, that's for sure. Great champions don't feel inhibited by the fear of failure. They're stimulated and motivated by it. I'm sure he's going to find something here.
Yes, my only worry with that, Terry, is the fact that it's been well noted John Higgins have swapped and changed his cue a couple of times this year, searching for something. And obviously it doesn't really breed lots of confidence when you're chopping and changing. And now he really needs to rely on his faithful tool, as they say. And if he hasn't had any great experiences with it or wins, it's going to be hard to find something from nowhere. Like we said, he is a true champion, never gives up, always gives 100%.
Well, I've never seen a Q win the World Championships, Darren. I don't think it makes any difference. I think the man is a great player, he's got a great heart, and I think he'll find something out here. He'll have to find it quickly though.
Yes, I know what you're saying, Ted, but I think we'll agree to disagree on that one. I think it plays a big part. The cue.
I don't really worry what you think, Darren, to be honest with you.
No, you probably don't, Ted, to be fair, but it plays a big part, the cue, no matter what anybody says. If you're not happy with something, it's hard to play well.
If you're not happy with something, it's the lack of control of your mind, not the cue. Mind you, I did say to one player I'm working with, Darren, this year, and he said to me, oh, he said, I lost the match, he said, and he said, my tip was no good. I said, well, congratulations, you're the first professional player to lose to a tip. Bit tight there to get past the pink and catch those three reds on the left. He's playing the one next to the pink now. He's changed his mind again. Off to go on the thin one. Pretty good.
Thank you.
It's taking a bit of time over this one, so obviously it's not straightforward. Didn't look too complicated to me, whether he was a little bit worried possibly of knocking a red over one of the corner pockets. But he played a good shot.
Cue ball's gone very close to that corner pocket. I think for a little sly second he'd have thought he found the corner. Didn't want the clip on the yellow, but what a great shot that's turned into now. Awkward cueing for John Higgins. Balls are split everywhere. He's going to do well here.
There is a shot on there. If he plays the red next to the pink very slowly and just knocks it towards the red on the black cushion, there's not leaving nothing on, but it's a very defensive shot, of course. Leaving himself vulnerable. Just mishit that. Caught that much too thin. It wasn't easy, but those are the type of shots you've got to make sure your opponent doesn't get a pot on after them. Ooh, he's had a kick on that. Could hear it from the commentary box. He doesn't show much of sullen, isn't he? All credit to him. He's always been like that throughout his career. He doesn't complain about kicks. He doesn't put his hands up in the air when he has a kick. Not easy to do that. Very frustrating. We've seen many players jumping up on the shot after missing with a kick, and the other thing Sullivan does a lot is when his opponent gets a kick and misses, Ronnie doesn't ask the referee to clean the white. His opponent against the ump then, because he wants everybody to know he's had a kick.
Nine.
You do feel, if you're a John Higgins fan, he needs to make a substantial effort with his chance. In his previous match he kept getting to 30 and 40 and breaking down. I think he was first to agree that he was struggling in the scoring department, which has always been a very strong point of John Higgins. Again already he's made things
17.
a little bit difficult for himself. He's got a shot at the blue and the black, but this is a lot thinner. The black's a lot thinner than he'd have liked. The blue's not a great shot, it would have to go in. This is a tester early on.
Big shot for John Higgins, that. He's been a little unfortunate, I think, with the position. Left himself another thin
24.
cut past the black, if you can see it. It's one of those shots when you take it on, you think, if I miss this, I'm going to leave the guy at least 4 reds on, and when you pot it yourself, sometimes you're on nothing. Oh, it's his thin cut he's taken on. Very nice.
25.
Darren said he's desperate here to make a big break. Just slightly overrun that. May not even take the yellow on. But that's not John Higgins' way, really. He's always gone for shots, even at crucial moments. Flash shot.
27. $28. $35. Sure. 36.
Still got a lot of work to do to make this a frame winning chance. He's on the red to the left centre.
43.
He's playing to get an angle on the black so as he can disturb 5 reds just below the pink spot.
$44.
It's all about this next shot. He just wants to drag into the outside. Red of the cluster. Well, he didn't. He caught the one on the right. Now, unless this red bounces off the cush, which hasn't come off there
51.
by much, so this now is a real tricky red. Just got the wrong cannon then. Just wanted the outside of that red to the left.
John Higgins, 51.
Yes, it's the type of shot you don't really want to pot for your next meal, do you? It's a very narrow angle and you have to hit it with some sort of pace to get on the blue. That could have been the most important visit of the match. But, though the ball's not easy from here, you do fear for John Higgins, where Sullivan's playing. These 3 reds will probably come into play very quickly here with the pink spot. Knew he'd always be on the one into the left centre.
6. $7.
Just slowed up just about in time. He's still got slight awkward queuing. No problem. I think that's the difference at the moment. Every time Ronnie O'Sullivan gets in, you just fancy that he's gonna pot everything, clear up. There's no John Higgins has had a lot of chances.
18.
But again, he had a great chance. Managed to make 51 and has
90.
broke down. The John Higgins of old. Probably did win a frame from most of his visits. And all these players obviously are used to playing at the highest standards. They finish frames off in one visit snooker. That's why the game's progressed and become so exciting. Sullivan is just making everything look so, even the awkward shots, as if he was 6 inches behind that then.
Foul shot. Ronnie and Sullivan, 25. John
That
Higgins.
is totally unexpected, but you had to play a very deep screw back to get off the cushion off and over to those two reds on the right hand side of the table. So the chance is gone. He hasn't left anything on for John Higgins, but Higgins will be very pleased. You see that? That is one of the biggest miscues we've ever seen. Look at that. Just got the grip on a little early probably. Tip dropped down before it hit the cue ball. Let's put Ronnie Sullivan back in again now.
It's a much better safety shot from John Higgins. And he has got a bit of a free shot at this if he was to fancy it. He could play this into the green pocket and the white coming back down towards the black. Wouldn't be leaving nothing on other than the red he's playing. So you might see a little bit of value in going for this. Elected to play the safety instead.
As good as he could have done from there. Sullivan get past the brown though. He'll take this red on. Got no easy safety on, and if he gets the red, a chance to win the frame and possibly take a 3-0 lead in the match. He didn't play for the black. Made the pot a little more difficult because of the pace he had to put into the shot. Now then, John, this is almost a must, I feel, to win from here. Not the easiest of first reds, but he's got to gobble this type of chance up against Sullivan in good form.
One.
So he's just a couple of shots from getting himself on the scoreboard, cutting his deficit to 1. And you do feel he had to win this frame to have any chance in this match. Couldn't see him coming back from 3-0 down. Not the way Ronnie O'Sullivan's playing anyway.
8.
2-1. Match is still on.
$14.
Well, the red didn't go in. It's awful tight across them cushions. Ronnie O'Sullivan stayed in his seat. He's given Ronnie O'Sullivan something to think about. John Higgins will be feeling much better. He cuts his deficit to 2 frames to 1. Well, he tried to shock us then and come back to the table, but it stands. John Higgins has cut his deficit.
Thank you. The 4th frame, John Higgins to break.
And one of John Higgins' strengths has always been he just hangs in there all the time, you know, he doesn't give up, and it can be difficult to play against. So Sullivan's done all the pretty stuff here. Century break and some great ball striking. Wobbled a few times, it's dropped in. Well, not great with the red is next to the black. Pink looks as if it's available somewhere, but probably won't go back into his own spot. Now then, he may have played for the red on the left of the pack so that he could pot it and move the other red away from the black, but he didn't quite get on it.
Five.
Sullivan and Higgins are very good at spotting how to get balls into play very quickly, the big coloured balls, the black and pink, where these players make all the one visits in frames.
10. $11. $16. $17.
Well, he is on this yellow. He swapped hands and he plays quite well left-handed, it has to be said. Wasn't the cleanest of strikes, and the yellow's gone, and he has got a shot on this red.
19.
Had a little wobble. Could see him playing the cannon onto this black. I don't know whether he can. He might be able to miss the red. And he has. He's played that about as good as he could. But do you see the bounce off the cushion again? He snuck right into the corner of that pack. This is awkward. Well, he's played the clever cannon. Very good.
27. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 27.
Well, that's the first shot he's missed in this match, an easy one, as we say, in the balls. See, it wasn't tight or close to the cushion. It's expecting to pot that at least 95 items out of 100. Not quite. Played it with a lot of power and stun, but just didn't catch enough of the red to keep the white down this side of the table. He's got a few long ones to go for, but he wanted to be amongst the balls here. The long pot. He's had taken on 2 long ones in the match so far and missed them both, so he's got 0% success in the stats. Sullivan 75%, that's quite high. There's another stat that's quite surprising. Safety success, John Higgins 75, Sullivan 90%.
John Higgins 8.
Just that one extra shot, Darren, isn't it, with John Higgins at the moment?
Yeah, there's you know, there is just something missing. Obviously he's looking for a bit of confidence, as I've already harped on about. He's playing with a new cue. You know, I don't know. I don't know why you would change from something you'd won all your world championships with and been such a prolific player, but obviously he knows what's best for him and he's searching for something. Maybe it's the incentive to make him practice a little bit more, keep him interested within the game. He's not a spring chicken any longer. They're all on his tail, catching him up. But there is something missing. You know, he's making mistakes with safety. He never makes mistakes with safety. Might miss the pot, long pot, but his safety is normally his strongest part of the game.
It's a good point, that, because when you watch Steve Davis playing now, who's still playing on the main toe, you know, and he's struggling to keep his main tour place. This time he's got to stay in the top 64. But his safety play is still outstanding when you watch him. He's just not making those one pots that he's got to make in a frame to go on and win them, and that's what's happening to John at the moment. I'm not trying to compare the two players, because John's still playing to quite a good standard, but not to his best.
Yes, I'd agree with that. It's great, mate, to see Steve Davis still going along. He loves the challenge. How much practice he puts in these days, I don't know, but he's still an handful for anybody.
Well, I think he needs to be good in the World Championship this year now. I think he's out of most tournaments. He's 61 on the list at the moment, 64 stay on. And he's still got a presence around the table, and the younger players, you know, if they get his scalp, it's something very special for them. He just loves playing. He just loves the game. Steve Davis, he loves competing.
3. Four.
Because these two players turned professional at the same time, didn't they? And Mark Williams came at the same time, and out of the three of them, you wouldn't have said that Sullivan would be playing the best at this stage of their career out of those three, but he is. He's up there still winning. Mark Williams and John Higgins not getting many wins in big tournaments these days.
16. 17. 24. 25.
The difference so far in this match is when Ronnie Sullivan slips out of position, he tends to get a good recovery shot to keep the break going.
$32. 33. 40.
Safe now. Just 51 left on the table.
41.
66 points in front. Just 43 left
47.
now, so I think John Higgins will be coming back to the table here.
48.
Well, he missed it, that one.
Thank you. 48 and the frame.
John Higgins then has conceded. Ronnie Sullivan takes the fourth frame and leads 3 frames to 1.
Thank you very much, Ashley. It's been very good so far.
Thank
John
you.
Higgins
Frame 5.
has had a couple of
Ronnie Sullivan to break.
chances, and he's not quite scored enough. There's Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's still looking in scintillating form. Still a long way to go. John Higgins somehow can take this frame right back in the match. You do feel it's a frame that he has definitely got to win. I thought 4-1 behind. It's too much of an ask, but 3-2 has matched the on.
Those hurt a bit. Didn't hit that anywhere near the pocket. And then he may use the second red here to hold for the black. A lot of these shots that Sullivan is playing, he doesn't hit the ball as hard as a lot of the other players. He strokes the ball in more. So they tend to hit the corners and still go in. The more pace, of course, you got on the shot, and there's chances got to go in through the corner.
9.
Sullivan just having a sandwich in the interval and reading the newspaper, quite relaxed.
$16. $70.
Now then, the big shot. What a great pack to go into, and he's having a look at the single red. And if Sullivan looks at the single red, it can't be a good pack to go into. He's on nothing.
20.
You can see why then. Sullivan is one of the best sort of going into the pack, and he reads how the balls come out pretty well. Oh, he's got one on top of the pack, is he? Yes. Ooh. Not an easy one. At least he's got something to go at.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Again,
24.
the pocket showing. They're playing quite tight. He hit that quite well. A bit slower, and might have gone in off the jaw. Stayed there. So come on, John.
1.
And again, he's not going to be too happy with that one. Didn't quite get through the ball enough. It's a big black, this now. He has got that red down below the blue, so he's just got to make sure of the pot. He struck that very well indeed.
8. $9. Rim.
He's on a red at the centre, but all depends what angle he got. If it's running into the pack of reds, after potting it, he won't take it on. And you can see it is. It's going to. Natural path is to hit the bunch of reds after potting it. No value in that. If it's away from the cushion a bit more, you could play with a lot of pace and run through the pack, but just playing the safety.
John Higgins, 13. One.
And in goes the green, nicely down for the Reds.
4.
Just everything.
5.
Looks all in place for Ronnie O'Sullivan these days. He needs a little nudge, he's getting it. Needs a little bit of luck, he's getting it. But that's due to his superb play.
12.
When he's in, he just looks like dynamite.
13. $19.
Didn't really like the angle on this pot here. Got to take it on. He's just considering what colour to play for and what angle to leave on that colour.
20.
I could have done a little bit better on that one.
26.
You had to go into the pack. How's his luck?
27.
And I said to Darren earlier on, you earn your luck, don't you? It's come out, he's perfect on the pink. As I say about Stephen Henry, he's on the table so much, he's bound to get a good bit of luck. That's how it is. We all know there's luck involved in
33.
in sport. But you can't do much about it, so why worry about it?
34.
That's a lovely shot, isn't it? A lot of players have had to hit that cue ball so hard to get that spin on.
$41. 42.
already now. Frame beyond doubt.
49. 50.
So far, it's not going to plan for John Higgins. It is for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
57.
He is like a runaway train at the moment that's lost its brakes.
58. 65.
Well, there's been a lot of balls missed across the cush, but it isn't going to bother Ronnie O'Sullivan. John Higgins has now got it all to do. He's got to win all 4 frames that are remaining. Ronnie O'Sullivan now leads 4 frames to 1.
Frame 6. John Higgins to brick.
Sullivan's really winning this game quite easily in second gear. He hasn't played quite as well as he had in other matches recently. But Higgins hasn't found anything as yet. Great respect between these two players, obviously. They've played so many times together, some great matches. The 51st meeting in professional snooker since 1992. I think Sullivan is fractionally ahead. I think it's 27-23. And there's always an edge between two players that start at the same time in the professional game. It's similar to the juniors, you know, the junior players, they come through with the same age groups as others, and into the professional game there's a little bit more edge. I was unlucky enough to join the professional game the same time as Steve Davis. I'm not saying I didn't like him at the time, but he kept beating me. It's easy not to like him then. He was a great player. What is amazing about this match so far, there's nobody got in first and won the frame with a big break. I mean, Higgins got in first the second game and broke down, and then as Sullivan done 115, but in the matches gone by that we're discussing, you'd have a lot of those. They get in first opportunity and win the frame from it.
I was just about to say that one thing that has been noticeable this week at Newport, this year's Welsh Open, Ronnie O'Sullivan's safety has been top draw. That's one of the very few that's got away. Still very high at 89%. You would expect John Higgins to have been ahead of Ronnie O'Sullivan. But no, it's not. That was a great pot. If he was a half ball on this brown to come up to these reds, he's got a little angle, but not a lot. I can't see there being any value. There's nothing really that's too open down at that pack of reds.
John Higgins.
Well, we've seen a good comeback in the previous quarter-final with Ding against Joel Walker. He's 4-2 behind Ding. Maybe a slightly bigger ask though for John Higgins playing O'Sullivan. It is said all great journeys begin with a single step. It's making the first step is affecting Higgins. It's notable when now then on the circuit when we come to the big tournaments, O'Sullivan looks fresher than everybody else. He's not entering all the events. He's left quite a few of them alone, as a matter of fact, and when he seems to come he's very fresh. When there's some players that the way the circuit's set up now, especially before Christmas, they're either in China or Australia, India, Thailand, away all the time, travelling, and Sullivan's missed a lot of those. He's come into all the big matches. He loves the Welsh Open, always has. Oh, look at that. What an incredible fluke. See the difference there when John Higgins potted the ball. He didn't have an angle on the brown to come down to the reds.
3. Four.
Here's the fluke. Look, he just caught that red too thick. Gone through a gap of reds and into the centre pocket. I think it's your day, Ronnie.
Yes, and like you said, he's played very well. As well, you can't take anything away from him.
10.
Nothing more demoralising when you're sat in your chair. Things are not quite going to plan. And your opponent is having a little bit of help as well as playing fantastic.
11.
He's got a big shot on now. This pink to the left centre. Could have done with being a little bit closer to this. But at the moment, it's as if these balls are just laying over the pockets.
70.
Tremendous.
80.
Well, that one hasn't turned out.
20.
Tried to go into the meat of the pack there to split them open. Just the safety shot now. And not a good one.
20.
May have played that safety when he still had the disappointment in his mind of not splitting the pack. Didn't give it much attention. Hasn't left anything, and at the moment everything looks difficult to John Higgins. There's the shot off the yellow. Just got too much spin on the cue ball. He wanted to come to the right as we look at the pack there. That would have opened and brought, of course, the black into play. Quite make his mind up here. And he's playing a safety, I think, around the table. Thought he was trying to get behind the yellow there. He must have caught it a little on the thick side. John Higgins hanging on in this match. I think he feels probably one more mistake and he'll be out of the tournament.
was nearly terrific safety. As it is, he's left this red the left corner, but a lot of distance between both balls, and Ronnie Higgins have had a bit of a lean spell. It's a big shot for him, and to get position. That's the problem. When things are not going your way, everything just becomes so much harder. His long pot success is still 0 from 6, which by John Higgins' standards, he'd be first to say is very poor.
Yes, and on top of that, he's missed a few of them by a distance as well, which is takes your confidence away a bit. Try to play that with top spin then to hold the cue ball along the cushion, get behind the yellow. So another long pot coming up. You'll have to fully commit to the one in the right corner. He's having a look here if you can play it, go into those reds and stay on the black possibly. Big shot. Nothing, John. Are you up to it? Pretty good. He's on the black. Of course, the bridging is going to be very awkward. So you have to bridge down, you're hitting down into the cue ball. That made the difference.
John Higgins won.
If he had his normal bridge there, he would have made that 10 out of 10. Never rains, but it pours.
One.
We'll have a chance here to see O'Sullivan now trying to make these balls in not an easy position. He's very good at cannoning balls out and clearing the path for the black, as he's doing here now.
9. $16. 17. 24. 25.
'John Higgins then sitting out. He's just made
32.
one break over 30 in the match of 51 in the third frame. Bit disappointed with that. Sullivan's just done enough, really.
40. 41.
The applause from the crowd. They put Ronnie O'Sullivan in a safe position to win frame and match.
45. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 45.
Well, John Higgins had enough. It wasn't his day. The match didn't live up to the expectations. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan that goes through into this year's semi-final, beating John